Real football might be over, but the offseason, much like the city of New York, never sleeps. We got coaching changes, free agency, the combine, the draft, and tons more action to cover to get ready for the next NFL season. Who's going to be the next rising star? What new coach is going to have the greatest impact? What free agent is going to take your team from pretender to contender? Let us be the voice of the NFL news. As Coach Mike Dubb, the real AG Alex Givens, young RG Robert Garcia, and yours truly, Coach Defense, break down everything from the NFL offseason right here on the NFL Offseason Blitz. Let's go. To all my heavy hitters and lockdown defenders, welcome to the Lockdown Defense Sports Network. I'm your host, Coach Defense, and we are the Hit Squad. We're bringing to you live our most efficient and most realistic mock draft as we're getting ready. Less than 48 hours away, ladies and gentlemen, for the NFL draft. Real live and direct. It is here. It is almost here. It's almost time to get real about these draft picks. As always, man, I'm joined to you today by my guys, my compadres, the Hit Squad. To my right, the man, the myth, the legend himself. You know him as the degenerate gambler himself, Mr. Over-Under, King Parlay, the young Padawan himself, and card-carrying member of the Boat Gang or Don't Bang fan club. Young RG, Robert Garcia is in the building. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Boat Gang, Don't Bang as always. Right below him, the man, they call him Dub. Calling from the DMV. Mr. Fall out of bed and drop big views on YouTube. They call him Dub because all he does is win. Coaching, sports talk, and he might steal your girl if you're not watching. President of the We Back Commanders fan club, Coach Mike Dubb is in the building. And to his immediate left below me, the real guy, the real AG himself. Some people claim that they are all good, but none of them are real. The co-host of the Lightning Fast Fantasy Football Podcast, the Trenches Guru, Mr. I'm in 10 fantasy leagues and I'm still winning. President of the You Can Hate Me Cause You Ain't Me Chiefs fan club. Give it up for the real AG, Alex Givens. Yes, indeed. And like I said, you're tuning into
the Lockdown Defense Sports Network.
Gentlemen, what's happening? What's going on? What's real in the field? Young RG, good brother, what's happening out there? Are you ready for the draft?
Oh, it's draft week, gentlemen. We are finally here. The apex of the NFL offseason has arrived. And, man, we can't wait to talk about it some more. It's going to be a great time.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Coach Mike Dubb, good brother, how are you doing out there? What's going on in Commanders land?
Ready to get going, man. You know, ready to see who we land and get behind them to get ready to take this next season to the next stage, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. The real AG, Alex Givens, what's going on in the kingdom?
A whole lot, man. Rumors are swirling, so I'm just happy we're at the apex, as RG put it. We're gonna get some finality to all this, off-season speculation, and we're gonna see, who our teams take and who the rest of the league takes to kind of build off of that. So
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one because we still don't know for sure what this first round is going to look like, especially with the Giants now having 2 first-round picks. And we're talking trade ups, trade downs, a lot of buzz going on right here. So we're going to give you our final and most realistic mock from our POV, how we think the board is going to fall ultimately. And we switched up a little bit. If you've been watching our mock drafts over the course of the last couple of weeks, we've had some changes around the order, of course, and we changed our order as well. So I'm actually not going first this time. It's going to be Young RG going first. There's going to be Coach Mike Dub, and then it's going to be me, and then it's going to be the Real AG coming in with the 4th spot. So we're going to keep that going. Yeah. We're going to cycle through all the first round picks and get going and tell you exactly how we feel about who's going to pick 1 through 32. So we're going to do the whole first round, and hopefully we can get this board as close to possible how it's going to look on Thursday. So, gentlemen, are y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's get going.
Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it.
RG,
so yeah,
come on, shake it up. Number 1, Monte Mack or nothing. Come on.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. So here it is. So we are on PFF. We're going to talk about the first round. Of course, the Raiders are on the clock right now, and everybody's been mailing in about who they're going to pick. But yeah. So Young RG, go ahead and set it off. What would you feel like is going to happen with the first overall pick?
Yeah, I feel like this is the one pick, and it's not always the case. Sometimes there is the case where, the number 1 pick is a bit of a question, and, there is no consensus number 1 overall pick. But the number 1 overall pick has been decided for about 4 or 5 months now. It's going to be Fernando Mendoza, and it's just a match made in heaven. The Raiders need a quarterback. He is the best, and in my opinion, only quarterback in this draft worth taking in the first round, and he will be taken number 1 overall. Maybe because of that, I think in past drafts he might have been, probably like the 3rd or 4th quarterback, but just with the lack of the position coming out of this draft, it's almost pretty certain. I think everybody will be 1 for 1 after the first pick is made. We'll just say that on Thursday. So yeah, it's Fernando Mendoza all the way.
Indeed. If you're a bet man, if you're only going to bet on the first pick, you're definitely going to get that one right.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So, yeah. So, we're going to take the non-sexy pick off the board and just do Fernando Mendoza with 1. Yeah. So, yeah. Have y'all noticed that Jeremiah Love moved up on the rankings? He was like 5th or 6th when we first did this. Now he's up to 3rd.
Yeah.
In the overall board. Notice that? Interesting.
Yeah, trying to CYA, dude. Move their rankings around. Be like, see, we've always had it like this.
Exactly. Okay. All right, Coach Mike Dub. The Jets are on the clock now at 2. What do they do? The PFF has their rating at quarterback, wide receiver, edge, and cornerback as their biggest need. So what do you feel like the most realistic thing that Woody Johnson and company are going to do in New York on come Thursday?
Who's got the highest overall?
That's a
who's got the X factor?
Yeah, realistic. Right, realistic and Woody Johnson are two oxymorons. So,
very true.
Yeah, but no, I think that obviously what we're hearing mostly is between 2 players, both edge rushers. Just a matter of which one they value most. I think at this point in the draft, Aaron Glenn really has to strike hard because his first season wasn't very good. So I think he goes with the player that probably has the most upside and could get the most bang for his buck potentially. And I think that's Arvell Reese.
Arvell Reese goes to the Jets. It's interesting you pick him because a lot of people saying it was going to be Bailey. So yeah, you feel like they're going to take Arvell Reese with the bigger upside than David Bailey is. But I think we all agreed it was going to be an edge rusher. So yes, Arvell Reese comes off the board at number 2 to the Jets. So yeah. All right, the Cardinals on the clock, and I'm up, and the Cardinals need a lot, to say the least. There now talks with Jacoby Brissett acting as if he's unhappy after he went 1 in forever in the season last year, and he wants more money, so he's holding out of training camp or voluntary minicamp, I should call it. So, where do they go here? I mean, I think that my biggest, most glaring need for them would be tackle. In all honesty, you got Jeremiah Love here, you got Sonny Styles, Ruben Bain, you got a bunch of guys here that are impact players. So what do they value? Now, from I guess you can say an offensive perspective, clearly this guy that they have in house now is more of an offensive minded guy versus who they had previously. So I think you're going to value the offensive pick here. And I will argue that even though Jeremiah Love is a sexy pick, with them having James Conner and Trey Benson and company and those guys, and they have Pacheco now. Is that what they have?
No, he went to Detroit. They signed
they signed another running back in free agency. Algier, that's what it was. So they got Tyler Algier now. So they're in
two James Connors essentially,
pretty much, just two wrecking balls.
Yeah,
So yeah. So although the Jeremiah Love pick will make you pause, I think they will honestly truly build for the future because they're looking at either Ty Simpson or quarterback next year. So I think they go tackle here. I think they go Francis Mwaga out of Miami, the first tackle off the board, and I think they do that and solidify the O-line with him and Paris Johnson. And again, you can't protect your quarterback or your running back, having any running lanes. It just doesn't matter. So I think they do that and get that done. So we'll see how that rolls. But yeah, so now we're at the Titans pick with the real AG. What do you think the Titans do with the Sonny Styles and Jeremiah Love and company still being on the board?
I love how this board fell for Tennessee. Putting my Mike Vrabel hat on in a little bit of hot water, so we got to hit this pick. Maybe appease things at home for Vrabel a little bit. Sorry.
This is Dayball now. Not Dayball and Saleh.
Yeah, my bad. I just wanted to make a Mike Vrabel.
Right, you just couldn't help yourself. I understand.
Yeah, no, Saleh. Yeah, I really wanted to get into the Vrabel thing somewhere. I was just ready to go. But yeah, without this fella, man, we are going Jeremiah Love. We're adding a weapon to Cam Ward. I know they got Pollard. I know they got Tajay Spears, but I mean, Pollard's towards the end of his life. Tajay Spears has never really turned anything into anything else other than, a change of pace type guy, third down back. So, get Cam Ward a complete running back, a guy with all the tools, someone that, they have for 5 years to build that offense around and help Cam Ward out. I think that's a slam dunk pick for them.
Absolutely. All right. So Jeremiah Love go to the Titans at 4. All right, young RG, the Giants are up now. Again, on the clock, they got 2 first-round picks in the top 10. Ironically, trading the why am I spacing on his name right now? DeMarcus Lawrence. Trading him to the Deckers Lawrence. What DeMarcus Lawrence?
I got everyone off with the thinking Vrabel.
He messed me up the Vrabel thing. Yes.
My bad.
Yeah, Dexter Lawrence, sexy Dexter. He's gone to Cincinnati. So the Giants got 2 picks here. So what did they do with their first one?
Yeah, so with the first one, I think with them acquiring this 10th overall pick, it severely changes the way they go with the board here. I don't think they necessarily go edge rusher or linebacker in this case. They can kind of wait for that position. So what they're going to try to do here is get ahead of the pack and take Caleb Downs before anybody can get to him. This is severely going to piss off Mike because not only do the Commanders not get him, but he goes to a division rival. But I think it truly makes the most sense in the world. Mike had been calling it like these kind of downhill safeties, these 3 down safeties that can play anywhere on the field, super versatile. We've seen it with Derwin. We see it with Nick Emenwari, of course, last year in the Super Bowl. The safety out of Baltimore, Kyle Hamilton. I mean, I think we all think that Caleb Downs can be that and, potentially much more. Obviously, the injuries things are a concern, but I think with the Giants now acquiring this 10th overall pick, it kind of makes them swallowing that pill. Because if whoever they take at 10 probably had a grade worthy of being picked in the top 5 regardless. So you get ahead of it with Downs early before all of these teams, and you kind of just let the board fall to you at 10.
Yeah.
Boom. There it is. Okay. All right. Good stuff. So Caleb Downs goes to the Giants at 5. All right. The Browns are on the clock, and I think most people kind of center them around O-line. So what do you think they do here, Dub?
I think they have 2 options. I think they either go with a tackle or wide receiver, both on the offensive side of the ball. Based on how the board is falling, I think that they'll probably go with the next best player available. In my opinion, I think that would be, scroll down for me. Carnell Tate at wide receiver, who in my opinion is a wide receiver that could do some numbers for them. Ohio guy, staying in the state, of course, teaming him up with Judy. Obviously, that's a guy that Shador can lock on to and have a bona fide number 1-2 punch there. And of course, with their also the other weapons and tight end that came in big for them last year in Fannin, I think they got something that they can cook with in Cleveland on offense.
All right. Whoever the quarterback's going to be, Deshaun, Shador, whoever, Yeah, they
Yeah.
definitely got a big time number one receiver, the weapon, which they haven't had since Amari Cooper. So that's saying
Yeah.
a lot. That's saying a
Yep.
lot. So that's a great pickup. That's a good pickup. Okay.
3 Ohio State guys gone in the top 6, and Sony Styles is not
Yeah,
one of
there's
the
going
best.
to be 4.
Yeah.
Right. Indeed. Well, based upon the way this board fell for the Commanders, I
Yeah.
think that this is going to be an interesting pick because, again, I think Downs was the big time play. And again, they went out and got Adafe Owe. They went out and got Kayvon Chason as edge rushers, incumbents in free agency. So, you send David Bailey down the barrel of the idea of picking him, Ruben Bain as well, Sonny Styles. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I guess having faith in who you paid in free agency would kind of lend to this pick. Although me personally, I don't think you can get enough of edge rushers, especially the guys like Bain, who is legit on both sides from stopping the run and being a dominant pass rusher. But being they have a real time, big time void at the linebacker spot, especially with Bobby Wagner, vacating that area and things of that nature, I think they go Sonny Styles. I think they pick Sonny Styles at this pick and get that just freakish athlete. I mean, what can you say about this kid? You can go on and on about his superlatives. I mean, he's a freaking nature. I think he might be one of the best athletes, period, bar none, in the draft, especially in the first round. So yeah, I pick up Sonny Styles would definitely be a great get for that particular defense, and I think that they will definitely see some production right there and early, and he could be the anchor of that defense for years to come. So, Dub, what do you think about this particular pick? Do you think that's what you would have done with the way the board fell, or would you pick somebody else?
Given the way the board fell, I wouldn't be mad at that. Linebacker is a position of need. We have to get a lot more athletic also at that position. So who better to pick than probably the most impressive athlete, pure athlete in the draft. So given how the board fell, I wouldn't be upset.
Okay. Would you pick something different had you been picking yourself?
No, I think that would have been the guy that I went with.
Okay. All right. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's a decent consolation prize for not getting Caleb Downs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Sonny Styles is definitely
The other Caleb, converted safety down to linebacker. So just a little beefier Caleb Downs.
Right. Exactly. 240 pounds of NFL linebacker. Yes, absolutely. Indeed. Okay.
Damn, that's 3 Ohio State guys back to back to back. That would be crazy.
You just imagine what that defense looked like.
It's very possible.
And they still didn't win.
I know.
Natty.
I know, that's crazy.
I was going to save that, but that was, had I been picking some of these guys, like for example, with the Jets at number 2, I might have went with a different edge rusher, but what I think they'll do is different. And part of that was because all these guys played on the same team and they didn't win. I mean, we'll get into that another time, but it's some Ohio State hater in my.
There's something,
Yeah, it's not like a hate, but
I hate the coach, No.
Damn. Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right, AG, you up next, man. What did the Saints do at 8?
Yeah. I was gonna put in the card for Sonny Styles if he made it to the Saints at 8, the same logic you did. So you saw, not letting someone that athletic fall that far. But I mean, Saints are kind of, like they're in a rebuild. They got they had a somewhat promising rookie year from Tyler Shough. But they have been kind of slashing their roster and are rebuilding things with Kellen Moore. So I think they can go really anywhere here, kind of best available just to build. I was eyeing, Carnell Tate for them just to pair with Olave since he's on his 5th year option this year. So, I mean, they don't even know if he's there for the long run, but he's gone. I'm not taking Jordan Tyson, just not with that injury concern. So, we're going to shift to the defensive side of the ball and edge rusher. We're going to take David Bailey. They don't have Cam Jordan. He's still a free agent, so they definitely need to add some young, youthful blood to the edge rushing room. And I think David Bailey is the ideal pick out of the two for what they do and what Brandon Staley does. So,
okay. All right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I tried to hold it in.
I can't, not with him.
I know. I was trying to be professional, but I understand. I definitely understand. Plus, I kicked his back in last pod, so yeah, we're okay. Back in, there's not pause.
Yeah.
But yes. So the Brandon Staley hate is definitely still high.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I agree. That's not a possible statement. I said he
all right.
blew his back out. Yeah.
Right, that's
That's
different.
all right,
That is
all right,
different.
Got
fair.
bought back.
Fair.
Pick his back out. That's assault, brother.
Right. And the spoken from the lawyer himself, so we know it's real. It's real. Okay. All right, good stuff. So we're back up at the top at 9 with Mike Dub. Is that what? Yeah, no, back at the top with
RG.
RG. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Back at the top with RG with the Chiefs at 9. So what are we doing here based upon the way the board fell, RG?
Yeah, the Chiefs would absolutely love if the board fell like this. That's all I'm going to
Hell
say.
yeah.
If
Yeah,
it came down to the Saints and David Bailey and both David Bailey and Ruben Bain were still on the board, it would just be a slam dunk. Chiefs wouldn't even need to trade back. So, of course, they're going to go with Ruben Bain Jr. I think this is somebody that in my opinion, I think this is who they're after all along. I think that's what the talks are to move up to 3 or 4 or 4. I think it's 4 Ruben Bain. And so in this perfect world situation, you don't even have to trade up for him. He just falls into your lap the way the board fell. And I think Veach is high-fiving and just celebrating as much as you can at the 9 pick. Like we had talked about it a little bit before the show. Alex had mentioned, you're not going to be with Mahomes. You'd like to think you're not picking this high, very often. So if you're going to be picking this high, you're going to want to use that pick on an impact premium position. And as far as defensive goes, it don't get much more premium than the edge rusher.
Not at all. Great pick. Okay. Good stuff. All right.
Alex, so what you think?
Yeah, no, love that pick. That's yeah. If it fell where the Saints are up and Bailey and Bain are still there, I guarantee you that Veach and Reed are writing both names down on a card and just waiting to see which one they're putting in. I mean, yeah, they would love that. So I would have maybe considered Delane, just with him being there, but yeah, no, can't pass up Ruben Bain, man. Can't.
No, well, not at all. Especially when he's ready to play, like he's ready to go right now. There's no guesswork. You put him on the field today.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. All right, Dub. So the Giants are back up. You're a division rival. What do they do at 10 after they're picking their first pick out of what was it?
Ohio State, Caleb Downs.
After taking Downs with the first pick, what do they do with their 10th pick?
I actually think this is the easier of the 2 picks, just because I think they'll be able to kind of they're kind of playing with house money at this point. They already got a top 5 pick, and then with this one, they'll be able to pick from how the board fell. I find it interesting that they don't have this position listed in their leads. From everything that I've seen, this is a position that they are making a priority. I don't know if it will be first round or not, but if the board falls this way, I think they'll be lucky if they can grab Mansour Delane and get a potential shutdown corner to team up with those edge rushers. So in the true fashion of Harbaugh, I know a lot of people were thinking wide receiver, but they did go out and get some wide receivers in free agency. And of course, we know Harbaugh's position, or his history with drafting wide receivers in the first round. I think you probably will want to tighten up that defense. And, Mansour with those defensive linemen, I think could be a good fit.
Hey, Caleb Downs, Mansour, and in the same secondary from the get-go? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. As if the defense wasn't formidable already. You just made it worse. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I ain't mad at it. Okay. All right. So the Dolphins are up next with my pick. And I think that would have definitely handed the card if Delane was still there 1 pick later, for sure. But they need a lot. I was targeting Sonny Styles, the linebacker, was targeting potentially an edge for them. They need tackles as well. If you want to be honest, they need safeties. There's a lot here. That they need for sure. So it's a tough one, but I mean, based upon the where the board fell, I think them having a bona fide safety in the room in Dylan Thielemann would be definitely the pick based upon where it fell, because again, that defense needs a lot of home cooking, a lot of maintenance, a lot of fixing. So I'm definitely picking up big Dylan Delane to jump off the rebuild with that secondary, and let him anchor that with their loss of Mika Fitzpatrick, didn't they? Isn't he gone now?
Yeah, they traded him to New York. Didn't he go to the Jets?
Yeah, the Jets.
Yeah.
Yep. So there you go. Yep. So there's your Mika Fitzpatrick replacement right there in there. So pick 11. So there you have that. All right, AG. So what did the Cowboys do at 12 here?
Jer, I agree with the top three needs there. I don't know if it's necessarily interior D line as much as like edge rushing help. But I think that's what I'm going to address here at 12. I'm going to take Messidor. Little earlier, but Jerry's never been one to shy away from picking someone he likes whenever, Let's not forget this is a guy trade up in the top 10 to take Morris Claiborne. So
that he did.
I know they traded for Rashawn Gary, but the other side of the coin in that 3-4 defense with Donovan Azarique, or however you say, I think that's how you say his name. He had he had a hip surgery, so he's got. I mean, you don't know if he's even available to start the year. And just even if he is, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have some edge rush depth. Messidor, older prospect, so. He has experience and all that, and I think would just, help kind of fill that void if Azarique, whatever, is not available, week one.
Okay. All right, good stuff. Yeah, that's interesting too because their quarter is switching to a 34 defense, and I actually slated Messidor as more of a 4-3 guy at 280 pounds, running a 4.8, 4.9, 40. But yeah, that'll be interesting. I mean, but he's still ready made to play. Him and Bain, they're definitely on the field day one. So yeah, can't go wrong there. From a production standpoint, just a matter of whether or not he's a scheme fit for the new defensive coordinator. But yeah, I mean, definitely a talented guy. So yeah, they definitely didn't need tackles and things of that nature. They got their tight end so far, so you can't really reach for Sadiq here.
No. Yeah, and I thought about going McCoy, but it's just that injury stuff, man. It's like,
yeah, that's risky because if he's not out there, you can't spend the 12th pick on a guy that's not gonna play for the whole first year. You just can't do it.
Yeah, no,
just can't do it. So I understand. I definitely understand. Okay. All right, good stuff. So we're back up top now again with RG. So what did the Rams do at 13?
I feel like this is the other pick apart from the Raiders one that is also kind of like the most set in stone as weird as it is. I think it's going to be Makai Lemon. Obviously this could be wrong if Makai Lemon is taken before this, but with the needs of the other teams ahead of them, I just don't see any of them making. I think Cardinal Tate's the only one worthy of a top 10 pick. And I think these teams that are right here, from then on, Dolphins, Cowboys, neither of those teams. I mean, Dolphins need wide receiver, but they can't afford to take Makai Lemon at that spot. They need way too much else. So I think the board just kind of falls perfectly for the Rams, no matter how it falls, and he will be waiting there for them at 13.
I like it. Yeah, and like I said, with Puka Nakua's uncertainty with this rehab, Devontae Adams getting old, they love to throw the ball clearly with Matt Stafford and him getting a new contract here soon. So yeah, definitely a slam dunk pick. You got to go there or tackle. I think that's the only answer at 13 for them for sure. Because Havenstein retired, their right tackle retired, but outside of that, yeah, definitely. I think they love weapons more so than they love tackles. So yeah. I definitely won't argue that pick at all. All right, the Ravens up at 14. What do they do at 14 for the new Jesse Minter regime?
So I mentioned this earlier, given people's track records, the previous Ravens coach, Harbaugh, with his lack of, I guess, fondness for drafting wide receivers in the first round, I think that they probably want to do the opposite of what he did, and they probably want to strike hot with getting the target for Lamar and, kind of giving the guys what they've been asking for, which is a bona fide playmaker on the offense. And a target for Lamar. So I think they go wide receiver, and I think that they go Jordan Tyson.
Okay. All right. There it is.
Hello.
Yes,
all right.
indeed.
Yeah, back-to-back wide receivers, huh?
Yeah. How about that? Yeah. It's a team that don't, well, I'll say the Rams do, but the Ravens definitely don't. So yeah, that is definitely eye-opening for sure. Yeah. Okay. All righty. So the Bucks are up next at 15, and they can go a multitude of different ways. And yeah, it's interesting because I definitely believe, I was hoping Messidor fell because I think that he'll be a slam dunk pick. And these guys are lower tier. Falk and Howell and Parker, more designated pass rushers in my opinion, based upon my analysis. So the next best thing for them, I think, would be guard or tight end. So now you're just torn between Sadiq or Vega Owane. So what do you do there? Who do you value more, for Baker Mayfield? Do you value him a weapon because Cade Otton isn't it? Mike Evans is gone. You got a younger receiving core with Mecca Book and him. So I think they go weapon here. I think they do Kenyon Sadiq here because I thought he might go to the Panthers in my personal opinion. But yeah, I think Kenyon Sadiq moves Cade Otton out the way and says, I'm the captain now.
I'm him.
I'm him. So yeah, I think they take Keon Sadiq with a 15 overall pick, and he's going to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. All righty, all righty, all right, AG. So what did the Jets do with their second first round pick at 16?
Yeah, we had Dub. Yeah, Dub took Arbel Reese, so we addressed, defense early with number 2. I think we're gonna go offense here. I was kind of eyeing Jordan Tyson, but Dub so eloquently had to take him 2 picks earlier. So we're gonna go with the next best available. That's Omar Cooper Jr.
Okay. Bona fide slot demon for them with Adnan Mitchell and Garrett Wilson on the outside. So that's a 3-headed monster there with Mason Taylor in the middle of the tight end. So hey, at least Gino got people to throw to. Whether or not he gets the football to them is a whole different conversation. But yeah, for at least the moment in time, they definitely have weapons galore for that offense. So we'll see how things throw. I think the Jets got a lot to worry about over there.
Yeah.
And
Well, if I was them, I would build up the offense around quarterback and have all of it ready once they find. I mean, because obviously it's not Geno, and they've tried to get the quarterback and then build around him, and that obviously hasn't worked. They've ruined, 10 people at this point. Yeah. Look at Sam Darnold. He was seeing ghosts in New York, and now he's a Super Bowl champ. So
they've wrecked several households with their inability to build around a quarterback. So yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Good stuff. Okay, good, cool. All right, back up to the top with the Lions at 17. RG, what do they do with their pick? I think this is more of a boring one too. I think it's kind of an easy one.
Yeah, this one. I mean, again, boring, but if the board were to fall like this for the Lions, they would be just absolutely ecstatic.
Exactly.
You basically get your pick at the tackles that you expected to be available. Obviously Francis Moago is expected to go, very early, but for the rest of the guys, you basically have your pick of the litter for best O lineman here. And I think they just go best player available with Spencer Fano. I don't think they overthink it. The departure of Taylor Decker is obviously going to hit them hard. This is a team with Dan Campbell that loves to control the line of scrimmage with those front 5 guys, and they're just going to look to retool that and give Jahmyr Gibbs some more, another 3 or 4 years of great running lanes.
I like it. Okay. All right, good stuff. So, all right, Dub. So 18 is the Vikings. And what do they do with their first pick?
I think they have to address their some guys that they lost on the defensive side of the ball. I think Harrison Smith is gone. Clearly, Thielen was one, or Thiedemann, I should say, was one of the guys that they probably had their eye on. Maybe they make a move to trade up for him if they feel like the board is going to fall the way that it's fell today. But if not, I think a good consolation would be Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, the safety out of Toledo, who's a pretty good consolation prize, and arguably one of the top guys at defensive back in this drive.
Absolutely. I like it. Okay, good stuff. Yeah, the second best, or at least they rated second best safety off the board there, for your Harrison Smith replacement. So yeah, definitely a slam dunk pick, and him playing in Brian Flores' system should be good for his, I guess you can say, statistical acumen for sure. He definitely should look good in that defense. So yeah, I like that pick as well. Of course, good stuff. All right, so the Panthers up at 19. Ironically, I get to pick the Bucks and the Panthers, and like I said, I wanted Sadiq to land there, but the Buccaneers, again, they have the pick higher and more of a glaring need in that space. So, so what do they do in regards to their pick? So they have wide receiver, tight end, center, D line in that space as their top needs. So it was interesting because, they could go wide receiver. Would it be a stretch to say that you just picked 2 really tall demons on the outside with Boston and Ted McMillan and just say throw the ball up to them and we'll just play contested catch football for 16, 17 games? That is a good one. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting with this particular space. And I don't think they spend the cash on center early, D tackle early or not. Yeah, this is a really good one. I actually think based on how this fell, they might actually trade out of this spot, and maybe get some more draft capital because the needs they have aren't high. But if you had a stick and pick, I think they have to go wide receiver here. Now the question is, do they want Denzel Boston? They want Casey and Concepcion. That is the only question. So I think because, they have, they still want to, put their faith in Xavier again. They want to sully his air quote confidence because he's, he was a high pick for them. I think they go Casey Concepcion and get themselves a slot receiver.
Wow.
And do that. And that's Yeah, I think they do that in that regard. With like I said, with Sadiq being gone, because Sadiq would fit right in because they definitely have a need a tight end. Guys they picked up, so far they've been solid players, but they aren't the level of Sadiq. So I think that they have the pivot there, and they would definitely go after a slot receiver in KC Concepcion. Him and Coker in that 4 wide would definitely be some candy for Bryce Young in Carolina. Okay. All right, so we're at 20 now. The Cowboys, AG, what do they do here at 20 since they picked up edge rusher with the first pick?
Yeah, I got to pick both Cowboys picks. So
That's
you
good.
get to be Jerry for the day, but
Uh-huh.
I had a pick in mind for this number 20. I had a whole spiel about it, and then the board fell a totally different way.
Mhm.
Because this pick was definitely going to be a little bit of a reach, but it would address the need. But just given that we passed on McCoy at 12 and he came back around, he's still there at 20. I think they gotta, at least take the gamble on him. Like they have Bland and Siobhan Revel, and they just signed another corner. But I mean, all of those, who they signed? Kobe Durant. But
Mhm.
Bland and Revel, like I don't think played remotely close to a full season last year. So it'd be good to add some depth of port. Ironically, though, they're going with McCoy here, who might also have his own injury concerns in that room. But
Yeah. So you think they go McCoy instead of Terrell or Hood in that space? Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, the Cowboys are definitely a team that is not afraid to take a player based off injury concerns. Like they've Jalen Smith.
Jalen's the type of guy to think, like, look at me, I passed on him, and he would have been up there, and he's at 20.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. All righty. So they take Jerron McCoy at 20, and hopefully their knee holds up in that space. All right. Good stuff. All right, RG. So what did the Steelers do at 21?
Yeah, this is
a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is a bit of a doozy because all of their needs. I mean, they could just go Iowa here. I don't think, Yohan here. I don't think they're gonna go guard. I feel like they are looking for if they're gonna go O-line, they're gonna go tackle. But they are just a defensive team. They've always been a defensive team, so I expect them to just continue to build that defense up and go best player available here. I'm gonna go with CJ Allen, the linebacker out of Georgia.
Okay.
I think they're attempting to do the Houston route where you just have a dominant defense and the offense just needs to not suck, except their defense kind of sucks. So they're in a little bit of what's the word?
Conundrum.
Yeah, a bit of a conundrum if you would say it. But yeah, I feel like this is a very Steelers move here to go linebacker.
Okay. Well, I mean, do you think the philosophy might change with Mike McCarthy being the head coach now?
Maybe, but even at that point, there's like no good offensive talent. Like, yeah, you could go Denzel Boston, but they already traded for Pittman. Like, I don't think he's going to go with another weapon. Sadiq is off the board as well. So I think they just kind of go BPA here. I truly think they trade out of this spot. Like, if this is the way the board falls, I would not be surprised at all if they trade out. But if they're going to stay pat, they just go BPA.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. All right, Dub. So what do the Chargers do at 22 with their needs?
So I feel like you guys kind of set me up to see if I would make the right pick if the board fell this way. I heard
I don't know what you're talking about.
I heard RG. Yeah, I know RG, alluding to it, and I think he purposely passed on him just to see if I was going to take him if he was available for you guys. I think you probably would all agree that the Chargers would probably rush the card in to take the guard from Penn State.
Chargers take Colin Powell.
Right. Colin Powell. Oh my God. Englewood Kringleberry. Oh man.
I felt the pressure as soon as I saw the board fall. I
felt
said,
that.
right,
Seems like that
RG's
Key
gonna
and
pass
Peele
him.
sweating gif. It was like,
Yeah. So
man.
whether the Steelers are going to take him or not, there's no way RG was going to leave him. It was going to take him.
Great choice, Mike. Great choice.
Yeah, great choice. We
Of course,
approve this. We approve this message.
Thanks for having me.
RG was like, well, Steelers might go guard, but I really want this guard to go to the Chargers. So I'm going to take
Yeah.
Right.
I'm playing.
So you caught on to that, did you?
I did. I caught it. I caught on to it.
Picked up what I was putting down. I understand. But listen, I wouldn't be mad at Vega or Pregnon at that pick. So
Yeah.
it'll work either way for me personally if they took either one of those guys. I'm not mad at either one, but sure. Okay. All right. So the Eagles are up at 23. And this is interesting for them too as well, because I think they have people really talking about this particular conversation. Now where the board fell is kind of interesting because you have your choice between picking up a pass rusher, because I think they sorely need that. But they also have to think about the future after Lane Johnson. And with Monroe Freeling still hanging right here, I think you have to do that. In all honesty, and I think you can get a DPR guy in the second round potentially, or move around like how he loves to do. Shift some picks around and get up high enough to get the guy he really wants in the second, or maybe come back into the first round. So I think they got to take Monroe Freeling here and just pick him up and just your heir apparent to Lane Johnson's throne in that space and keep that O-line flourishing in that space. I think they take Monroe Freeling at 23 and get that done. All right, the Browns up again. AG, what do they do here after taking Cardinal Tate with their first pick? Did you pick the first one too?
No, that was Dub with Cardinal.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, all right. So what do they do after taking Cardinal Tate with their first pick? What do they do at 24?
Man, I was just sitting here like, I'm about to take Monroe Freeling. This is going to be great. Yeah, because we addressed the wide receiver. They obviously revamped the whole O-line via free agency. But they still could use a tackle because they got, DeJuan Jones is their left tackle, but he's really a right tackle, and he's coming off his third straight season of a season-ending injury. Yeah. So there is some problems there. Outside of that, I think they could kind of go in a plethora of ways. So it's really just, do I think Cleveland thinks they need to address O-line now and find someone that could be like the 1B at left tackle, or do they plan to do that later? I'm going to just say that we're going to do that later just based on how it fell. And so I'm going to take Avion Terrell, add to the cornerback room, and make the defense even more stout.
Wow. Okay. Good stuff. So Avion Terrell goes to the Browns, filling that void that Greg Newsome left. So yeah, there you go. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, back up to the top. RG, the Bears at 25. What do they do based upon where the board fell?
Bears would love if this is the way the board fell for them. They are taking Caden Proctor, and they are not looking back. I think it's a very easy choice to make for them. You lost your left tackle last season. Name is drawing a blank right now. Caden Proctor fits in nicely there. And on the bright side, if your left tackle does come back and ultimately wins the starting job back, well, Caden Proctor has the option, that versatility to move kind of anywhere else on the line besides center. So with that kind of versatility and with the absolute dire need, this is a team that's pretty much win now at this point after what Caleb did for them last year. They're pushing all the chips into the center of the table, saying, let's keep protecting that blind side of Caleb. Let him just have more protection in the pocket. And it's not like a waste of a pick because he can always move. That kind of versatility on the line is unmatched. The value in that is completely unmatched. And he's a fantastic prospect, very athletic. I'm sure Ben Johnson will probably dial up some end zone touches for him. It would not surprise me one bit. This
refrigerated Perry calls.
Yes. Yeah. They already have a fridge in Chicago. Maybe it's time for a freezer, and I think he would be a fantastic addition.
Aiden the Freezer Proctor. I like it. I like it. Coin the phrase now, Chicago. We're giving you all
tonight's forecast. A freeze.
Nice. Can you imagine? Now, Ozzy Trapillo is the guy they had left tackle. He's hurt. Either he tore his Achilles, I feel like, in the playoffs.
I thought it was his patella.
Well, and they got Braxton Jones, but I think he was hurt too. And then they signed Jedrick Willis, but Wills, or however Wills.
Jedrick Wills, yeah. Okay.
But all question marks by him, so yeah.
They are. 360-pound tackle doesn't grow on trees. So yeah. I definitely get it. Okay. All right, Dub. So the Bills are at 26. What do they do with their first pick?
I think they, that's a team that probably had their eye on a guy like CJ Allen at that linebacker position. I think they definitely have a need there for it. But I think if the board falls this way, they also have a need at edge. And if Kendrick Falk is there, I think they'll go ahead and grab him.
All right. Keldrick Falk goes to the Bills at 26. And it's interesting because I actually would to Cassius Al, because Cassius Al has a better upside from a pass rush perspective. Keldon Falk's more of the run-stopping variety that needs to develop his pass rush skills because it's kind of like Greg Russo. Greg Russo came out of college much like that. Really good run defender, a 4-3 run defender, but his pass rush wasn't elite. So I think they're going to get the same guy in a different, uniform in a sense. But yeah, definitely a solid pick, a guy that can play early for sure. Okay. All right, so the 49ers up at 27, and I would argue that because we talked about Caden Proctor last time we did this, and they just resigned Trent, and the line of Caden Proctor over Trent Williams have just been cheap. I don't like it. I don't like it. I would have to look at that across the alleyway and say I gotta face this O-line as a linebacker for 4 quarters. No, don't like it. But yeah, so luckily that didn't happen. But now there's just a question of what because again, the 49ers are one of those teams that don't pick in the first round a lot. A lot of time they trade them picks away. They kind of have the Rams mentality after them picks. But in a rare occasion that they pick in the top of the first round, I guess you can say. I think that you kind of have to consider Blake Miller here as a tackle option. With Nick Bosa's injuries and his concern, it could go TJ Parker here or Cassius Howell. Hell, even Caden McDonald, to kind of solidify that the interior of their O-line, or their D-line, excuse me. So, based upon the fact that, again, even though Trent's resigned now, I think he got a 2 or 3 year deal going to play for them for the next couple of years. But I think that you can have enough O-line help, and I think they go Blake Miller here with the pick, and get CMC, Brock Purdy, and those guys ultimately some clarity on the O-line and get that done. I kind of want to go receiver there too. I was kind of itching about that. Maybe Boston, but with Jawan Jennings being gone, but the IU conversation, and I don't know. I'm not sure if Boston kind of fits the mold of what a 49ers receiver under Shanahan does. Doesn't really fit to me. I don't know. Weird. But yeah. So yeah, they take Blake Miller at 27, and we'll see how that goes. But the Texans are up now at AG, and what do they do at 28 with their needs?
Yeah. Could do a lot of things here because it is for the most part a pretty complete roster. Obviously, pretty elite defense. Looking at Cade McDonald right there, the guy picked in our second round mock because he fell that way. They might have to consider, if that's a guy or that type of player they're targeting, might have to consider to do that here. But I am not going to do that for sake of a little bit something different on the assessment. So I think going to the offensive side of the ball, they addressed offensive line a lot more this offseason with, guys they brought in and vets and Braden Smith and Wyatt Teller. But, their left tackle is a guy that they drafted last year, and he wasn't overly promising, I would say. So I'm going to go tackle just to shore up the room. And maybe, get some competition for that or find your left tackle of the future. I'm going to take Caleb Lemieux because he is the true left tackle available here. Out of those other 2 guys are right tackles, so that'd be the same problem they have with this. I don't know how Irsay or Ursary, however he says his name.
Ursary,
So Lemieux is at least a bona fide left tackle. That's the only spot he played on the O-line. So you got at least someone with more experience, from the blind side, to help Stroud out.
I like it. Okay. All right, back up at the top, RG, with your final pick of the first round. So what do the Kansas City Chiefs do at 29?
Yeah, again, this board is just falling fantastic for the Chiefs. I think Chiefs fans would be ecstatic if these options are available for them. I think they're going to go with the position of need to repair that decimated secondary. And I think the obvious pick here is Colton Hood out of Tennessee. The Chiefs would make out like bandits if they're able to pick up Bain and Colton Hood in this draft, immediately addressing the 2 biggest positions of need. And on top of that, I think in my opinion, they get the best of one, which is Bain, and they get a top 3 at the other in Colton Hood. I think he might even be top 2 now with the injury to McCoy. Yeah, so I think this is a slam dunk for the Chiefs.
Yeah, if you want to see Spagnuolo dance on his desk after the draft in the first round.
I'm all for that, dude. Yeah, it's a hell of a haul right there.
Yes, indeed. So that's what you would have done with a board fell, AG?
Yeah, him or
Peter Woods.
Yeah, our McDonald, someone in the interior D line, but it's like they could do that later. I think that with having the 2 first-round picks and the needs they have, it has to be prioritizing edge and corner, or just someone in the secondary.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So the Dolphins are up next at 30. And they again need practically everything. You name it, they need it. So they picked up Sonny Styles. Was that what they picked up the first pick? Was it Styles or
No?
You drafted. I think you took
Dylan. Yeah, Dieneman.
Safety. Okay, safety. Yeah. All right. So they got a safety with the first pick. So I think based upon the fact that Cassius Howe fell all the way to 30, you got to take him. I mean, it's definitely. Yeah. Yeah, you got to do it.
Like you said. I mean, you name it, they need it. At this point, take the best player available, best edge rusher available, and address that defense.
Agreed. Him and Chop Robinson on either side, filling that void at the edge rusher spot left from Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb. So yeah, definitely repair that and get that done. Yeah, so I like that pick for them at 30. So yeah, getting Thielemann and Cassius Howe for that defense definitely bolster that and help them out and not look so porous in 2026. For sure. All right. So who's let's skip your pick, Dub? I'm sorry.
That was the pick.
Oh, that was the pick? Okay. All right. Okay. So you were catch. Okay, cool.
I think you were talking through it like you were picking it, but Dub.
What's going on here? Okay. All right. That's my bad, Dub. Yeah,
it's all good.
My bad. Okay. Would you like to pick the Patriots pick?
No, I'm good.
Better be a good one, dude. You're in hot water, Vrabel. There we go. Now we got it right. Just
there we
go.
Full circle. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So they lost Tonga in free agency, I believe, to the Texans. I think.
Yup.
Yeah. So that's crazy.
No, wait. Didn't he go to the Chiefs?
Was the Raiders? Was the Chiefs?
Who
did Tonga go to?
Chiefs.
Yeah, it was the Chiefs. Right?
Yeah. All right. So yeah, they lost Tonga to the Chiefs. They're run stopping guys. So they could go. Honestly, lost Chase on to the from the edge spot too. They can go either spot here. In all honesty, again, I'm not sure how they feel about Max. At the tackle spot, because with Will Campbell and his
his dinosaur arms.
Yeah, his Tyrannosaurus problems. So yeah, it's interesting what they do here. It could go either way, in all honesty. But the fact that they lost Tonga, you want to pair somebody up with Milton Williams and really had that defense coming from a run defense perspective. I think they go Kane McDonald here and pick him up at 31 and help that run defense out and get that going. Get that going. All right. So AG rounded out here with 32. What did the Super Bowl champ Seahawks do at 32?
Yeah, they got a few needs and not a lot of picks. So I think realistically, with any pick 32, there's a good chance that they trade back just to get more picks because they only have 4 in this draft, and a few like any Super Bowl winning team got a little gutted in some spots. But just for the purposes of what we're doing, not trading out. I think that they're going to address running back here. Because, yep. Okay. If I'm staying at 32, I'm taking Jadarian Price.
Wow. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Damn.
They don't have a running back next year. I mean, they got They lost Kenneth Walker. They got Charbonnet, who's probably going to be out for the whole season. So they sure as hell ain't going in the season with Emmanuel Wilson or George Halani being RB1.
Ooh. So go ahead. I'm listening.
I mean, I'm going to say I agree with you that they're definitely going to trade out of this pick if this is the way the board falls for them. Yeah. But has that ever been a case where 2 running backs from the same school both win in the first round?
That's
Felix
a great question.
Jones, well, maybe not first round, but definitely been drafted before. So.
Oh yeah, no, definitely drafted together. But
I think actually Darren McFadden and Felix Jones both went in the first round.
Did they?
They might have. Yeah.
I check that one. I need to know.
I'm looking now, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, first
you know-
round, 22nd pick, Felix Jones.
Wow,
2008.
that is crazy.
Okay,
Who
so
was the second pick,
You know-
or who was the third pick? Darren McFadden. Where'd they both go? Arkansas. There's
Whoa.
precedent. Book it.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Okay.
All right.
okay.
You know what's interesting is how this board fell. Is maybe Tennessee can deal one of their running backs if they're going to take Love. You know, I mean, they got some guys.
That's a great point.
You
That's
know,
a great point.
so
Okay. Yeah.
I about said
Yeah.
Darren McFadden and Peyton Hillis, and I was like, that's not right. But Peyton Hillis also came out of that running back
He did.
room, and I think was drafted same draft. So
So
it happened. Hey, it's a little bit of a reach, sure, but I mean, really, their biggest needs are running back and corner, and
Yeah.
they got some corners. So
That's true.
let's do it.
That's true.
wow. Okay.
Damn.
So to round it out with the 32nd pick of the first round for our final mock of the 2026 season, the real AG said the Jarian Price goes to the Seahawks and be their starter for the 2026 season.
Boom.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Okay.
Did that F grade I got on that.
That's funny. All right, so this is how your board fell. Mendoza at 1, Arville Reese at 2, Moaga at 3, Love at 4, Caleb Downs at 5, Carnell Tate at 6, Sonny Styles at 7, David Bailey at 8, Ruben Bain at 9, Mansour Delane at 10, Dylan Thieleman at 11, Akeem Mesidor at 12, Makai Lemon at 13, Jordan Tyson at 14, Kenyon Sadiq at 15, Amar Cooper Jr. at 16. 17 is Spencer Fano. 18 is Emmanuel McNeil Warren. 19 is Casey Concepcion. 20 is Jamard McCoy. CJ Allen, the Steelers at 21. Vega Wani to the Chargers at 22. Monroe Freeland to the Eagles at 23. Avion Terrell to the Browns at 24. Caden Proctor at 25 to the Bears. Keldra Falk to the Bills at 26. Blake Miller to the 49ers at 27. Caleb Lemieux at 28. Colton Hood at 29. Chiefs. The Dolphins pick up Cassius Howe at 30. That was Mike Dell's pick, not Coach Defenses. I'm sorry again. My fault. And 31 is K. McDonald to the Patriots. And to round it out again, I'll repeat it again, ladies and gentlemen, Darian Price to the Seahawks, the Super Bowl champion Seahawks at 32. You heard it here first. So, gentlemen,
Book it.
that is going to wrap our mock draft for the 2026 season. So, the next time you see us, ladies and gentlemen, we will be live on Thursday. Thursday is quick upon us, and we're doing, again, our live draft show, mock show for the 2026 season. So please pull up on us starting at 8 o'clock. We'll be live and direct covering the entire first round of the draft. Pull up on us, give us your takes. We will be opening up the stream for guests to discuss their picks. If they want to come on, they got good audio, good professionalism. We will allow you on to discuss and chop it up with the panel as the show goes on. So that is an option for you. We will have some NFL insiders for the Lockdown Diva Sports Network on as well. So like I said, we're going to be getting things rolling and we're going to be getting things done in short order in that space. So we will be live again this Thursday at 8 o'clock for the NFL draft and covering the whole entire first round. So gentlemen, is there anything else that you want to cover as I pull up our graphic here for the mock draft? What did I do with it? There it is. Where are you? Let's get rid of that. All right, let's get rid of that. Okay.
Boom.
I was not showing. All right. Okay. Is it showing?
It's on. Yeah, it's on there.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool.
Mhm.
So yes, we'll be live on Thursday night at 8 o'clock. So, gentlemen, any final words before we get up out of here?
It's upon us, gentlemen. It's finally here. The apex of the off season. And enjoy it. That's all I'm going to say. Enjoy this weekend because once this is over, the dry spell begins.
That's for sure. Yeah. Only thing we got is scheduling OTAs after that.
Yep.
That is for sure. That is for sure. All right. All right. Good stuff. So, yes, we'll see you back here on Thursday for our live draft. Should be a good time. It was a great vibe last year. I think it'll be even bigger this year. So, we got to have a nice time with everybody that supports the Lockdown Diva Sports Network. All right, gents. So, that is it for us. So, for the man, the myth, the legend, Young RG, for Coach Mike Dub, because all he does is win. For the real AG, because all his picks are all good. They call him real AG because his picks are all good. And myself, Coach Defense. We'll be back on Thursday with another live show on Locked On Divas Sports Network. But in the meantime, between time, hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Get the YouTube algorithm know we're doing big things out here to support this podcast movement. And until then, we'll see you when we see you. And as always, you got to do one thing and one thing well. You got to step up to lock it down.